The male reproductive system functions in sexual reproduction to produce sperm, the male gametes. It also serves to deliver these sperm to the female reproductive system. Sperm are produced inside the testis, inside many coiled tubes called seminiferous tubules. The testis also serves as an endocrine organ to produce testosterone, the male sex hormone. Sperm then are moved into the epididymis, a tissue layer outside of the testis where these sperm will mature and be stored until ejaculation. The testes and the epididymis reside outside of the body cavity of the human body because of the lower temperatures needed to facilitate the production of sperm. The vas deferens is a long tube that connects the epididymis to the ejaculatory duct inside the body cavity and is the tube through which sperm will move upon ejaculation. The ejaculatory duct is a very short duct that forms from the joining of the vas deferens with the tube from the seminal vesicle, a gland we'll take a look at towards the end of the video. The ejaculatory duct then enters the urethra, and the urethra, of course, is part of the urinary system as well, draining urine from the bladder, but serves to facilitate the movement of sperm through the penis. In the testes, sperm are produced through meiosis. More technically, spermatids, the immature form of sperm, are produced through meiosis. So here we see the cross-section through one singular testis, and inside we can see that there are many of these coiled tubes called the seminiferous tubules. Now these seminiferous tubules house the primary cells, the spermatogonia, that will go through repeated cell division to produce the spermatids. And again, those spermatids will move out of the seminiferous tubules into the epididymis to mature into sperm. Here we see a cross-section through the tissue inside the testis showing many individual seminiferous tubules. Now if you zone in on one of these seminiferous tubules, you'll see the ring of cells that surround the outside region of the seminiferous tubule. These are the cells that will go through many repeated rounds of cell division to form the spermatids, which we can see in the middle of these seminiferous tubules. And of course these spermatids are at the center because they will then move through the tubules to enter the epididymis. Now we want to take a closer look at these cells in the process of spermatogenesis inside the seminiferous tubules. Spermatogenesis, the creation of sperm, begins with a primary cell type called the spermatogonia, which is diploid, and we see them lining the very outer rim of the seminiferous tubules. Now these spermatogonia, which are diploid, will go through mitosis first to produce a primary spermatocyte cell and another spermatogonia. The primary spermatocyte, of course being produced through mitosis, is diploid. That primary spermatocyte will then start meiosis 1, complete meiosis 1, to produce what's called a secondary spermatocyte. And of course at the end of meiosis 1, these cells are officially haploid, having only one set of chromosomes. Meiosis 2 is then completed to produce the immature spermatids, or sometimes called spermatozoa, which again aren't going to be haploid. So as we see in this lower picture, further into the center of the seminiferous tubule, the spermatids arrive after being produced through meiosis 2, and we can see their long tails swirling at the center there. Now incidentally, also inside the seminiferous tubules is another cell type called the Sertoli cell, and we see it here with its extensions going between some of the primary spermatocytes. It serves as what they call a nurse cell. It helps nourish and guide these gametocytes, these gamete-producing cells, through the development of each of the different cell types. Spermatids, again, are the immature form of sperm, and they mature into sperm inside the epididymis. So we see here a typical sperm cell, and there are three major regions to consider within this sperm cell. The first being the head, which is mostly consumed by the nucleus. The entire purpose of the sperm is to deliver that nucleus to the egg cell of the female. And then there are also a few organelles in there as well. The head is also covered by a cap that's full of enzymes, and this cap is called the acrosome, and that will serve to help penetrate the egg cell for fertilization. The middle piece of a sperm cell is just behind the head, and this consists of many mitochondria to provide all of that ATP the sperm is going to need to whip its flagellum in order to travel to meet the egg. So the middle piece is filled with these mitochondria wrapped around microtubules, the proteinaceous cytoskeleton that will extend into the tail. And the tail is just a common flagellum, that like the type of which we'd see in bacteria and protists and the sort. And this flagellum, of course, is constructed out of all of these cytoskeletal microtubules, and that flagellum is what will consume the ATP in order to whip it and move the sperm in the female reproductive system to meet the egg for fertilization. Finally, we want to investigate the few major glands involved with the production of the fluid called semen, which is ejaculated from the male during the act of copulation. The first of these glands is the seminal vesicle, which is attached to each of the vas deferens. So there are two of these seminal vesicles, and they will secrete a nutrient-rich fluid full of sugars to nourish the sperm, to feed them, if you will, as they complete their journey to meet the egg. And we see the seminal vesicle joins with the vas deferens to form the ejaculatory duct. The prostate gland is a large gland that the ejaculatory duct will move through, and the prostate gland will then secrete these substances that help motivate or activate the sperm to make them vigorously thrash their tails and use energy in preparation for fertilization. Finally, the bulbourethral gland, which is actually the first gland to start producing substances, will secrete a lubricating mucus. That will clear the urethra of any leftover urine, as well as neutralize the acidity of that urine and provide a very lubricated surface for the delivery and passage of the sperm during ejaculation.